What's up, guys and gals? It's Wednesday, so you know what it's time for. Another chapter of Kengan Omega. Chapter 331 review right here, right now. I'm trying to make sure that these are still coming out on time, sort of idea. If you can't tell from my disheveled look, still wearing my work shirt, for God's sakes. I am just here, just making sure to try to get this out by Wednesday. So without further ado, let's just get underway. Chapter 331 has some really interesting stuff to it. I like this, and I really got to get the finality of that video out. All the papers are right here, all the stats and stuff I want to bring up from Ashura and Omega for that other video that I mentioned a couple of reviews ago about determining who is missing from this tournament, who could potentially show up, etc. That video is definitely still underway, guys. It's just finding the time to sit down, record it, and make it all make sense so I'm not, leapfrogging myself throughout an entire 30-minute rant. So look forward to that. But either way, this chapter brings up some intriguing shit. So because we go on here, obviously Oma is just kicking the crap out of Mr. Number 6, who's got the worst face tattoo. You know what? I won't say the worst. I have seen worse face tattoos. Believe it or not, I have seen worse face tattoos. I've seen face tattoos worse than my ponytail, okay? I have seen them. But this guy, he's a close second. This is abysmal. No eyebrows and the... Anyways, so funnily enough, I like the interaction here. Once again, Okubo being a bro. Okubo is just here being badass. Because not only does he's like, Oma, seriously, I want to fight too, man. Seriously, I can do this. And Oma doesn't say, well, just because, he doesn't do some cocky shit well, just because I now have this understanding of principles, and because I am Oma, and because I am amazing, and I am the main character, Koga and Ryuki, who, he doesn't say that, Okubo, you might struggle, but I gotta take care of this guy. He freely says, Okubo, man, you've been training too. This dude is not, trust me, you are not even going to break a sweat. You are not going to have fun here. This is not a fight. This is a slaughter for either of us. And I'm like, yeah, let's go with the Okubo praise here, man. He is that dude. And anyway, it's a bit, once again, they fight. Oma kicks the shit out of him, right? And at first I was like, really? He's not even going to use the Nico style. He's not even going to use the Nico style. He's beating the crap out of this guy. Once again, Oma's got to likely hold back, and he brings this up. He's got to hold back because if he were to go all out on a dude this week, he would kill him, And he even says, "Can you guys?" He starts mocking him. He's like, "Can you worm guys only kill people when they don't know how to fight back?" And it's like, really though, really. So this worm guy gets pissed, and he doesn't give a shit. So he supposedly here is going for the kill. So we can assume that number 6 here, and if we assume that they are either all 1 to 10 are, with the exception of number 1, who we meet this chapter, are relative to each other, or at the very least that's the power scaling dynamic. This guy is going all out, and this is sort of an idea of the fact that even when he's trying to kill his opponent, Worm going all out, no handicaps, no nothing. It doesn't matter. Nico style, Iron Breaker, baby. Boom. Obviously, a held back Iron Breaker. It's still beating the crap out of him. And his classic, his redirection kata, Weeping Willow. We love Oma, man. We love Oma. Oma is just cool. Definitely. And he's not looking as much like Ryuki in this chapter, like the last one. He's looking far more. There's 1 or 2 panels where I'm sort of like, okay, let's keep Oma looking like not Shen levels of old, but definitely an older Ryuki. Sometimes, unfortunately, blame it on the AI, blame it on Dara or whatever, but sometimes Oma looks like, okay, that's the guy who came back to life from the Ashura days and is now in his late 20s sort of idea, and he's got a little bit more of a jawline, a little more lines under, a little more well-defined. And sometimes he looks a little too youthful. But in this chapter, I think the art is pretty much on point. And Oma looks like himself here, unlike the last chapter. Now, this is where Oma says, listen, man, you just took an Iron Breaker. You're tough, but you will die if you keep this shit up. If you keep coming at me, this shit ain't gonna end well. I'm just saying, because he is completely on the ground. He is knocked out. And Okubo is standing there like, well, so, because once again, Okubo's still analyzing, because at the end of the day, this might be a fight that they have later. Okubo, of course, still wants to be the best. He was the one in the Ashura tournament who was sort of like, they talked about how Agito, the Fang, makes great fighters never want to fight again because they're so scared of the Fang and the crushing defeat. Okubo overcame those nerves from his loss to Agito in round 1, and he said, just because you won this time doesn't mean that, like, I'm giving up. I'm the king of combat, and I will one day be the king. So Okubo, his plotline this entire time has always been, I'm eventually, like, I'm not giving up on having the title the strongest. I will beat Roland, I will beat Gao Lang, I will beat Agito, I will beat Oma, I will beat Kuroki Gensai. I will win. That's why a lot of these characters entered this tournament, because they can't stand the idea that someone is out there stronger than them, and if they are, put your fist to the test. And that's what Okubo's doing. And he's here, even though obviously he's being a bro, he's also sitting here going, man, watching Oma right now. Shit, I cannot think of a way to exploit him right now. Like, he's got no flawed movements, there's nothing, how would I handle this right now? And then immediately doesn't even turn around. The aura farming is Piccolo level real. He's standing there. So what do you want? Noticing that number 1, the direct head subordinate of the worm, is here. And he's a Gojo reject. Okay, we have a Gojo reject in the crowd. Alright, very original. You know what's funny? Is that characters did this type of shtick long before Gojo, but because JJK got massively popular, not only due to the manga doing quite well in its early arcs, but then, you know, touted sort of as the next Bleach, it was Bleach inspired, stuff like that, but also, of course, the anime just going off. Once again, high-level anime is always going to bring in a lot of the revenue and stuff like that. It's why Demon Slayer, while just an okay, average, realistically speaking, shonen manga where they fight Michael Jackson, it, you know, because of the animation, it got lauded as an 11 out of 10. And animation brings people in. So it's funny, I bring this up to say that I fall prey to these remarks myself by calling him a Gojo reject, when meanwhile, as someone who's been enjoying anime long before JJK was even thought of, I've seen characters with the whole, you know, how about Usui from Kenshin? There's a perfect example. Usui from Kenshin had this 20 years before JJK existed. Why didn't I call him an Usui reject? It's just because this is why, you know, so characters have done this all the time. So if anybody actually complains that it's like, oh man, now Daro's getting really lazy, or Sandra's getting lazy and he's just putting in a Gojo, no. There is dozens of characters that did this shit with the whole bandages over the eyes before Gojo, okay? Hell, Voldo in goddamn Soul Calibur, for God's sakes, from like the 90s, had this shtick. So, anyways, he's here, and he's just saying, whoa, Okubo, I have no intention of engaging in combat with you right now. Now he's got one of the white, and this is where Okubo notices on the palm of his hand, that's where he's got the tattoo, and it's a white one, so he's one of the direct subordinates and stuff like that. Okubo is recognizing this. So they've been given the intel, yada, yada, yada. And he says, and so he starts talking to number 6, who's on the ground. Almost got his hands in his pockets. He's like, this shit is over as far as I'm concerned. He gets up one more time. I'm going to put him down permanently. And I really wish this was that kill or be killed tournament. That is what is missing from Omega, in all honesty. People complain about the AI art, the bad plot lines, this, that, the other thing. Realistically, it's the no-killing rule that killed Kengan. The no-killing rule is holding back so much potential. It really is, in my opinion. I think that's the big factor. I think people would complain far less if, like this tournament or any of the tournaments had said, you know what? No, we're not doing purgatory rules just because we're behind. No, this is an all-out. If you die, you die. You chose to enter voluntarily. death is on the table. You know, I seriously think that would eliminate a lot of it. It wouldn't eliminate the problems, but people would complain less. So, anyways, so the number 1 here says to number 6, we don't get any names here. Says, keep in mind that our mission is to eliminate any forces that would obstruct the match. You have not been given permission to engage Tokita Oma. Withdraw at once. So, couple of key things here. Number 1 is that he brings up that obviously we knew that Tokita Oma would be one of the things that was probably given ahead of time. Yan was like, Connector wants to fight Oma. You run into Oma. Unless you have to fight back, you leave him well enough alone. If you see him, try to dodge him, sort of idea. Likely something like that did actually go down. Shen probably didn't give the order, but Yan was like, he's looking forward to fighting guys like Kuroki Gensai and Tokita Oma. If you see these two, do not engage. That's the connector. That's what Shen wants to do. Shen wants to have fun. So fuck off and let the connector have his day. You know, I would not be surprised if an order like that, and maybe the list is a little longer. Maybe there's some people other than Kuroki and Oma on the list, but there's probably a few select people that were directly said, because number 1 brings it up. You were not given permission to engage him. So if he was not given permission to engage him, I would argue that Yan brought up like, okay, here's a small list of people. You can fight whoever you want out of the 88 people in this tournament. You cannot fight these 4 people. And these 4 people are off limits. You know? Gilbert's got Ryan. Do not engage Ryan. Shen wants his bout with, the beard and our main character. And maybe Ryuki's on the table or something like that. But you know what I mean? He probably gave a small list and said, guys, if you engage them, no, don't do that. Like, wait for orders. I'm sure they have radios or Bluetooth or something like that if they had to, right? So, and the other part, which is before that, is keep in mind our mission is to eliminate any forces that would obstruct the match. So anything that's going to stop. So they've probably been told aware of not so much Setsuna, but Tiger Nico and Fake Nico, and of course Luhan. And it's like, listen, Shen's having a good time. We assume Luhan's going to get his ass involved and try to stir shit up. We're expecting a Guardians coup, just like the Ashura tournament. Your guys' job is to make sure that shit, if it does go down, you take care of it. Don't let it disturb the Connector's fun day. That's sort of the deal. In some way, shape, or form. Either way, they're basically saying, like, any fighter that's going to, like, try to end the match early, blow up the island, any Hayami shit, yeah, we're not doing that. So, okay. This, I guess we could have expected, but it's nice to actually have this dialogue spelled out to us on paper, because we could have assumed this, but at the same time, Yan is kind of wishy-washy whether he wants to indulge Shen or go absolutely against what Shen wants half the time. That it's nice to have this one spelled out. Now this is where number 6 disobeys number 1, goes at him, and another Iron Breaker. It's over. It's freaking over. And number 1 is like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to take him up. We'll see you guys later. And he says, Tokita Oma, please be aware this attack was not what the Connector intended. You have our sincerest apologies. And I believe him. Sincerest apologies? Of course. Because, once again, Shen probably wants to fight him himself. They've been building to that. Shen and Tokita have been, like, they have literally been saying, like, hey, I want to fight you. Hey, I want to fight you too. Just get stronger first. Oh, you bet I will. I can't wait. They're looking forward to this match. So, if Yan didn't already say, Shen probably talked to everyone 5 seconds beforehand and said, anybody fights Tokita Oma, you fuck right off. That's mine. That's my fight. You leave him the hell alone. Because, of course, Shen doesn't want to fight Oma if Oma has to go through a gauntlet either. You know what I mean? Like how we all assumed that this would be more of a gauntlet thing for Shen to get through. Initially, when we brought up a Kengan match, like how would that work sort of idea. In this scenario, the way the Battle Royale is working, I'm sure that Shen or Yan or both basically said, Connector wants to fight Oma, so fuck off. Until Shen gets to fight him. I'm good with that. Now, Okubo's just like, wait a minute. You think you can get off with an apology? Seriously, this is do or die right now. Like, you think we're going to just let you leave? Are you freaking crazy? Oma's like, yeah, no. Let him go. Take him and go. Next time, I won't hold back. You won't be so lucky, etc. And Oma did figure this. He goes, yeah, I figured as much. Because Shen, unlike the Worm and their underhanded tactics, Shen is on the up and up. He's like, no, I want to straight fight you. We have an official match set up, an opportunity to fight. I'm looking forward to it. Shen has no reason to do underhanded means to fight. If he wants to fight Oma, he's just like, alright, everybody else fuck off and I'll fight him when I get to him. You know? And Oma's like, yeah, I took him at his word because why wouldn't he? You know, like there's no reason for him not to. So he number 1 takes number 6. They don't destroy his watch. Number 6 is still in the game, and he walks off into the forest and says, I will leave this one's disposal to the Connector's discretion. So number 6 might be eliminated when number 1 goes and locates Shen, and he says, look, this dude did blah, 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 and he might go, okay, crush his watch and let's keep going. We don't know exactly what's going to happen until we see it on screen. Now, they start a fire and stuff like that. I think they're still trying to, eat or something. I don't know exactly what they're doing, but Okubo and Oma are still setting up their camp sort of idea, right? And he's just like, well, why did you let him go, by the way? And he said, well, I didn't let him go. And Okubo asks Oma what he's talking about. He's like, you didn't find it strange? As far as we know, the Worm has sworn absolute fealty to Wulong and the head of the Worm. But number 6 just now violated those orders from the mouth of one of the other subordinates, no less. And Okubo said, well, I thought the Worm was just going renegade. But you think there's something else going on here? And he says, yes, I'm not totally convinced yet, but if my imagination is correct, this was not a one-man idea. Number 6 didn't just come and attack me as the sole renegade. They still have worms inside of the Worm, as it were. Either Luhan, Tiger Nico, somebody else is pulling strings to say, we are going to disrupt this. This is not going to be on the up and up. So I figured letting the Worm keep an eye on him was much better than breaking his Apple Watch and disqualifying him. Oma thinking big brain shit here. And then the moment we acknowledge that he's thinking big brain shit here, Okubo immediately says, alright, that was really good. And I get what you're saying. But what if, just hear me out here, what if the blindfold guy, the Usui reject, because we're not doing stereotypes, he's not a Gojo reject, he's an Usui reject. If the Usui reject was also in on it and was trying to save face, you just let 2 enemies get away. And almost loading screen. And Okubo realizes, you ain't ever going to load up to 100%, are you? That brain is a fried egg in that sort of idea. And then he's just like, oh, for the fuck's sake. So Okubo, of course, goes right into Oma and is like, fuck the hell off, Oma. You say something clever for once in your life, only to ruin it with one logical argument. Don't go playing this bungling goof on me right now. You can't take chances like this. This is a do or die. Where the hell did you get this careless personality from anyway? I really wanted to add, wanted him to add one quick line there to say, I know it wasn't from Kazi because that man is stressed to the fucking max the last 5 years. I have never seen that man relaxed. So I know you didn't get this carefree, do or will be done personality from your stepfather. Alright? Like, Jesus. So I really wish they had added that line because it would be in Okubo's nature as one of the 4, that are really close with Oma and Kazi and everybody, Yamagohan. And it just would have been great if he had said, you didn't get this shit from Yamagohan, you didn't get it from Gaede, you didn't get it from any of us, so where the fuck did this attitude come from? Seriously. My guy. You literally died 5 years ago. I thought you sort of leveled up. And so this is where I'm almost like, oh, well, I guess no point in being too suspicious. It's like, you literally were the one who was like, Insidious plot, 3D chess. only to go backwards and be like, we're playing checkers, motherfucker. So, I mean, I like this. I think it's awesome. I like this whole chapter. Because Oma beats the shit out of him, acknowledges that Okubo could have done the exact same thing with no problem. Number 6 is nothing. The worm is fodder to our favorite characters. Okubo and Oma are some top tier motherfuckers, and they can deal out the damage without breaking a sweat. They're awesome. And we get the banter. It's great. We meet subordinate number 1. All this stuff is pretty cool. And plus, we're sort of insinuating that someone else is obviously already poisoned the worm itself. Likely Luhan or somebody like that, but maybe there's another party involved. Just saying, like, there could be something else going on. Maybe that's why Nicholas Le Banner is back, who, by the way, end of the chapter, immediately. Because people were like, I saw the comments, people were like, really? Really? We start the Battle Royale, and the first thing is Shen beating up on 2 people that don't matter, 2 fodders, and it's like, well, kind of establishing like people trying to actually win this thing. They're like, all right, if you're number 1, if we can get you early and push you out of the ring, it was a sound strategy. I don't have a problem with that. Okay. Then the next complaint was, really? We just watched Oma's training arc. Now the next fight is him like completely dog walking one of these worm guys and stuff that were all built up. Well, first of all, they were built up for all of like 5 minutes. And second of all, if Oma can't deal with these guys like this, then he stands no chance against Shen in the first place. So what do you want? We were just basically establishing the results of his training. And now, here at the end of this chapter, we're getting one of the fated fights that we've been waiting for. Ever since we learned that Nicholas Le Banner was actually alive. Who, by the way, I wonder if the real brother and stuff will, wait a minute now, you know? Because remember when Rin went and had the interview and stuff during that purgatory fight against Okoya? I wonder if he's involved. I'm just saying, like, maybe is he in the crowd? Is he watching? Are we going to see a flashback? Something like that. But the real Nicholas is here. The real Jean is here. And Jean-Luc and Nikolai. Or, because you say, depends on where region they're from. See, it's obviously, it's Nicholas to us and it's Jean to us in American English and British English. However, depending on, because they're obviously French and stuff like that, and from others, it's Juan or Jean, and then it's, of course, Nikolai or Nicolas. Depending, you know, but that's more Northern European, like Nikolai is more with the K and actually ends with the I, and that's like Russian. But I've heard Nicolas, you know, depending on where he's from and stuff like that, I could be saying his name completely wrong. So from here on out, obviously I know it's gonna be Jean, because Jean-Luc is popular in French Canadian. I'm in Canada, you know, and in France French. So I'm gonna go with still Jean-Luc rather than Jean-Luc, or Juan. And same with Nicholas Le Banner, because I don't know if they say it differently exactly in a French setting. So, anyways, just fun pronunciation thing there. But yeah, end of the chapter. But sorry, tangent. Back to the chapter. We have the rematch of Destiny is about to begin. So how did he survive? Why did he think he had won? And where is Lou? You'd think that Lou would immediately be like looking for this guy. You know Lou is showing up next chapter. But if you guys aren't excited for this at this point, this is my point. Because the end of the chapter is like, hey. So, Jean is like, a lovely sunset, isn't it, Nicholas? A beautiful time to die. And this is where Nicholas is basically like, did you know that here in Japan, twilight is considered the witching hour? First off, believe that's like literally half the countries of the world believe that. Second off, it's the time when the phantoms are most active. It's called Halloween, motherfucker. And phantoms of the past. Like yourself. I thought he was going to say like myself. You know? So, obviously the trauma and stuff, and people didn't like this shtick. I don't mind it. It makes sense. He was already crazy. So the fact that he trauma dumped and believed himself to kill Nicholas, all this shit makes sense. I'm sorry. In a real world setting, that a person with that level of psychosis would believe whatever truth would keep their mind. Remember, the mind has power over the body. The mind wants to keep itself alive and from shattering. It's why even if you have suicidal tendencies, you are not able to that's why you need basically extremities or have to do it in certain ways, because the body will say, and the brain will always try to save itself, even if it's hurting, if it's poisoned, if it's whatever. You can't just jump in a pool. If you start to lose consciousness, the body is still going to flap. It's still going to fight to stay alive, because the body, the mind and the body want to keep you alive. And in the same sense, when you have someone with psychosis of any description, when you have someone who's basically crazy, just to use the more layman's terms, their brain is going to try, and their mind is going to try to save itself from itself by not breaking, by not shattering, by not, so it's going to keep itself safe. You've seen this in so many just works of fiction, in real life. Goddamn, on a Forensic Files episode, you've seen this stuff. So I have no problem with the fact that Nicholas was actually alive, Jean-Luc is crazy, and we're having this rematch. So at this point, end of chapter, what are you complaining about? We saw two guys say, listen, we're going to shoot our shot to get Shen out of the competition in the most convenient way possible. It didn't work, but good on them for trying. Then we saw the results of Oma's training. We're already underway with the Battle Royale. We sort of knew the results, but it's nice to see it. Okay, and it only gave us chapter and a half, guys. Calm the hell down. Chapter and a half. Big deal. And now we're setting up for one of the big fights that I think a lot of people are interested in, because so many people loved the Okoye versus Jean-Luc fight when he was Nicholas. So, I'm not complaining. I like this chapter. Almost strutting his stuff. We saw number 1. Okubo is awesome as always. And now it's Nicholas versus Jean-Luc. I'm sure Lou will be involved. And Lou is like, for some reason, I don't get it, but he's like the fan favorite from Purgatory. Like, everybody loves this guy. If he dropped out of the story, I wouldn't notice, to be honest with you. But everyone seems to love Lou. So the fact that Lou is obviously going to somehow be involved in this or show up at some point during this fight, I mean, I personally think that this chapter is great. It's a good chapter, So, anyways, what did you guys think of the chapter? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always. Forgive my poor attire and, bad hair and stuff like that. But as I said, got off work, said, okay, I got to get to this because I got to go shopping and I got to, prep lunches and blah, 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 blah. Anyways, I got a lot of shit to get underway. And I didn't want this one to be delayed till Thursday because I knew that if I delayed it till Thursday, I knew that Thursday would end up hectic and this probably wouldn't come out until the weekend. So I just wanted to get this done right now, and I had a lot to talk about. So yeah, it's like a half-hour review here by the looks of the timer. So anyways, that's it from me, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the chapter as much as I did. If you guys can't tell, I really like the chapter. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always, and we'll see all you wonderful people back here next week for the next Kengan Omega. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. I'll see y'all back here next time. Have a good one, everyone. Sayonara.